Honor guard, prepare to post colors. Stand by. Honor guard, reset arms.
Please remain standing as we say the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Romulus Girl Scouts troop.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you'll please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by our Deputy City Clerk, Dijon Hockenhall.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Honor guard, order, colors. Honor guard, prepare to post colors. Post. Honor guard, left, face. Forward, march.
Thank you. You may be seated. Again, thank you for being here this afternoon. Before we get started with the program, I would like to recognize some of our elected officials and dignitaries that are here with us this afternoon. And I do apologize if I missed someone, but I'm going to start off first with our City of Romulus elected officials. We have with us this afternoon our City Treasurer, Stacy Page, City Clerk, Craig Bragg, Mayor Pro Tem John Barden, Councilwoman Kathy Abdo, Councilwoman Celeste Roscoe, Councilwoman Tina Talley, and City Councilman Bill Wadsworth. From our 34th District Court, we have Chief Judge Brian Oakley, Judge Lisa Martin. From our Romulus Board of Education, Board President Ursula Wester, and Board Member Portia Laster. We're also very honored today to have in our, at the State of the City, Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, and Wayne County Sheriff Raphael Washington. From our State Representative's Office, Dylan Wagella. From State Senator Office, Darren Camilleri's office, we have Terry O'Neill Darling representing him this afternoon. And our own State Rep, Reggie Miller, is here with us today as well. We'd also like to recognize some of our neighboring communities that have come out and support this afternoon. From the City of Westland, Mayor Kevin Coleman. City of Dearborn Heights, Mayor Bill Bazzi. City of Inkster, we have Mayor Byron Nolan. Also City of Inkster, the City Clerk, Georgia Holliday. And the Inkster Council Pro Tem, Steve Chisholm. And I'd like to welcome our First Lady, Miss Kendra McCraight, here today as well, too. And also, I apologize, Darcel Davis from the Romulus School Board is also here. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite to the stage Pastor Willis to lead us in the invocation.
Right before we pray with an audience this large, there may be some of you that may not be Christians, and we don't want to offend anyone, but at the end of my prayer, I will always say, we pray and bless you in Jesus' name. You can just add whatever you believe in at that particular point, that you won't feel offended with our prayer in Jesus' name. Let us pray. Our Father, Lord our God, we're grateful. Thank you for your amazing grace. Thank you, Father, for another year that we allowed this mayor and his team to push this city forward. Lord, we've seen so many wonderful things that's already came to pass. And Lord, there's a lot of great things that's down the pipe. We pray, Lord, you would give this mayor wisdom. He may lead his people, lead this city. Reminded of the story in the Bible, Elisha said to Elijah that I have to leave now. But I'm going to leave this job in your hand. And Elisha said to Elisha, I will take the job, but I need a double portion. Lord, give this mayor a double portion to lead these people of his in this city. Lord, he has to deal with people with different personalities, those in office and those outside the office. Give him wisdom to sit at the table with those who want to invest in this city, that he make the right choices for the city of Romulus. Even when council or his staff don't understand, give him the strength and the wisdom to do the right thing. Then, Lord, we pray that his team will rally behind him, and this city will rally behind him and as he go forward, leading us to another path. We pray most of all, Lord, for his health. Lord, keep him strong and keep his family healthy. Keep his wife strong and his children, his grands. Take care of them. Because, Lord, when they're strong, then he can be strong. We ask, Lord, you bless his staff. Keep them together. Bring unity and harmony with council. Unity and harmony with your attorneys. Unity and harmony with the unions. Allow them to come together for one cause. That's to lift up the city of Romulus. Thank you again for the partnership with the school board as we go forward, the superintendent, and all that's involved with this city to make a great city. We need your blessings. Pour it out on us, and we give you praise. These are all blessings I ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. And now, if you will join me in welcoming to the stage our own Superintendent of Romulus Community Schools, Dr. Ben Edmondson, and he is going to do our welcome and introduce your featured speaker today. Thank you, Dr.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for being here. On behalf of the school board, Romulus School Board, and our staff. Pretty much this is next man up, because I see Mr. Petty, I believe, is back in the corner. He is the principal of the high school, and sometimes when you're not able to get here, he's had an unfortunate death in his family, and he has still found the time to be here. Mr. Petty, I recognize you, and I offer my condolences to you and your family. Mr. Petty he is the principal here, so I certainly wanted to start there. I want to, again, welcome you all. This is an exciting time for our city. I love this guy. I love the mayor. I've known him now only 3 years, but I met him 3 years ago, and he gave me a tour. I believe he was is a director of DPW. I don't know if that's the correct term.
Building official.
Building official. But he gave me a tour, and that's when we first met, and we drove all around Romulus. And he opened my eyes up to the city, because I was new. I didn't know anything here. But it was there that our relationship formed, and since then we've been very supportive of one another. I look at Bob like he's a brother of mine. There's 1 year difference. He's class of 1986. I'm class of 1987, though I am born and raised in New Jersey. But we have a kinship that really bonds us. And I was very excited when we sat down. We meet probably monthly, but we talk more than that. And we both, I think, have the same vision for the city and where we want it to go. So I'm very, very privileged that the mayor has given me an opportunity to participate with him in this state of the city. But this isn't about me, and this isn't about him. This is about the state of the city. Please put your hands together. Let's welcome this wonderful mayor who's got a lot of energy, boots on the ground type of guy. Mr. McCraight.
Any better. I love partnering with the school. I love my job. I've said it before. This is not about politics. This is about getting this community back to where it was in the city I grew up in, where I love coming up here. So every day I get to come to work. It's a busy day and it's a long day, but I'm solving problems and I'm helping you, this community that I love, forward. So you can't ask for a better job. So I love doing what I'm doing. Meeting Dr. Edmondson and partnering with him on several projects has been an awesome opportunity, and I'm glad to have the schools incorporated now. The maroon and white, we say everything is done with intention. The maroon is on purpose. We are one Romulus, we are one community, and we only go as far as our schools go. So give it up for Ben and the way they've kind of done a repurpose down here. New sound system, new screen up here. They've reinvested some capital improvements in this auditorium to make it a nice place. So make yourself comfortable. We're going to talk about something I love, which is the city of Romulus. We got the comfy chairs here. It's only takes us about 3 hours to wrap this thing up. So hope everybody got their food out there, and we're ready to go. So that being said, let's get her going. I do want to take a moment right now for a friend and a colleague, long time serving in this community, take a moment of silence for Councilwoman Eva Webb. Thank you. Eva was a great council person, great leader for this community, great passion for this community. She served in multiple divisions and departments before becoming an elected official, and her heart also was Romulus red, as we like to call it. And she was a great asset to our community, and we truly will miss her. Also want to thank Ellen Bragg, our city clerk, and treasurer Stacey Page for being a part of the team with elected officials. Together, cooperative efforts with our elected officials, how we get things done in this community and keep ourselves rolling in the right direction. Also, I wouldn't be able to get work done with my administration without a cooperative council. We bicker, we fight, but we always come down to one thing, and that's the Romulus residents, how we move this community forward. And I see other mayors and other community leaders here, and I see other issues, and they say much different problems in the city of Romulus does, but we have a great team, and like I said, if we didn't have a cooperative council to work with, we couldn't get things done, we couldn't continue the initiatives that we want to get done in this community, move our community forward without our elected officials. The Romulus story. A lot of times you come to the state of the cities or state of the state or different speeches, a lot of it's rainbows and unicorns. We talk about all the great things we want to see in our communities. We're a little bit different. I'm not afraid to talk about some of the things that are usually taboo in these where, hey, these are problems in our community, but I want to share with you what our struggles are, what the challenges are we're facing. I want to be transparent. These are things that we're working on, that we're working to find solutions, but we haven't found them yet. So we're going to talk about those things first. We're going to bring the schools back up to talk about some of their trials and tribulations and wins, and then we're going to talk about some good things going on in our community. I could do a State of the City speech on each department. There's so much good work. But we had to scale it back and get a time frame of 3 hours we got to fit before they kick us out of here. So, like I said, these are some of the challenges we're facing here in the city of Romulus that we're determined to correct. The first one is we talk about branding, the gateway to Michigan. For years we saw the signs around here that said, this is the gateway to the world. We flipped it around a little bit because that means you're leaving. We want to talk to the people who are coming here. So we are the gateway to Michigan. And there's a lot of reasons we are the gateway to Michigan. Key challenges is telling the Romulus story at the Lansing level. I was amazed at how many people in Lansing and our key legislators didn't know the Romulus story. So we want to make sure they heard from us what are some of the things and our growing pains that we're having here in the city of Romulus. So I can't say enough about key relationships. Here you see State Representative Wagala, County Commissioner Al Haydes, also Governor Whitmer, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, Speaker Joe Tate, also State Rep Miller, and then down at the bottom we got Senator Camilleri and members of our school board and our council team. They came out also to have meetings, but they allowed us to tell the Romulus story. What are some of the issues we're having here in Romulus and how do we work together with our legislators in Lansing to solve them? They don't know the nuances of the struggles we have with housing the international airport. That's one of the biggest economic engines in the state of Michigan, and it's right in the heart of our community. And it's got some benefits from it, and it's got some negative impact from it too. We have a great relationship with the airport. However, there are some issues and some things we struggle with here by housing that airport, and we want to make sure they know what they are. Keep pointing this at the TV. It doesn't work that way, right? Obstacles that are impacting our growth. Part of that message are, the Act 51 calculation for road funding. It just doesn't work. Basically, a part of your gas tax divided by rooftops, divided by lane miles goes into your funding. That calculation determines how much Romulus gets for road funding. Obviously, it's inadequate, so we're working to change that. State revenue sharing calculation, municipal finance model. Those are things that work in other communities, but not with the community that houses an international airport. Just a graphic we have out here too, we want to share of each dollar of tax you pay to the city of Romulus. We are still the 4th lowest in Wayne County for a full service community. It's a pretty good bargain. And you see, I average 30 cents every dollar that you pay go towards municipal operations here in the city of Romulus. Economic impact to DTW, another message we keep telling our lawmakers. $10.2 billion generated through the state of Michigan through airport activity associated with our airport. 86,000 Michigan jobs. That's a big engine right there. By comparison, the Gerald Ford Airport is in second place when you go by percentages of people who travel through there. 36 million people annually go through our airport. Our population is 25,000. That means 25,000 people sleep here. There's 25,000 employees at that airport. So it doubles during the day. Excuse me. By comparison, Gerald Ford International Airport, 1.7, and went through this. So it's not even 10% of what we have here. And also, if you look at the tax base that helps subsidiary airport activity, Grand Rapids is working at $643 million, where Romulus is 25. Pretty big comparison when you look at those numbers. Infrastructure and assets. Another thing we're working on is roads, roads, roads. We all hear about it, right? We all know. We've seen great work in our state, but we still need to do work in our communities. Neighborhood streets. Streets and roads are the same thing, but you hear us talk about streets a lot because we want to refer to neighborhood streets. We can find funding through the state, through MDOT, through federal, through the county, for major roads, but there's nothing to go directly to the streets that lead to your porches, or your driveways rather. So we have to continue to work to find ways to fund those streets and those repairs. You'll see right here, this graph, not a big increase. However, if you look at, with the inadequate funding we have for our neighborhood streets, that PASER rating has gotten a steady increase. So far from where we want to be, but we stopped the decline, and we also have a slight incline in our road system right here. So we hope to continue to find funding mechanisms to keep working on funding for our neighborhood streets. Just another graph here to show you what they're dealing with at DPW. They love to fix these streets, but by the time we get our Act 51 money, it shows you right here, about $3 million goes towards paying for our equipment, our manpower, and our material that we use out there, leaving Roberto about $900,000 to do some road repair. Roughly one lane mile of road is about $1.2 million. So it's not a lot of work we can do with $977,000. But we're going to continue to work with legislators, lawmakers, and find creative solutions for these. 34th District Court, a lot of conversation about that, and it's a statewide issue. It's not just a Romulus issue. We're having issues right here, and you see we have a report. We're working with the teams. Every month we watch that to see where the revenues are at. Where are the issues? There's not an issue over there because of the new building. The new building's paid for by people who use that building. They assess what's called a funding unit fee. Every transaction, if you use that building, goes to pay for that building. The problem you have is with operational costs. I mean, the host city, we have to absorb those costs. So we're working on solutions there. We haven't found them yet. We've been watching the numbers. We know a couple key maneuvers we can do to help those numbers, but we're not there yet. And we're also working with the 5 communities to work together cooperatively to find a solution for this issue over there at 34th District Court. Attracting new retail stemming violent crime is an issue in the race for the new mayor. That was an ad that ran on us during the campaign, and we forgot all about that ad, but it lends itself to promises made, promises kept. We've been laser focused on taking care of some of our crime issues and some of the stats we have, doing more with less of Romulus police officers. Our officers right now, it's a statewide issue, it's harder to find people who want to be police officers. So we've done some things with the contract and POAM and the command staff officers to settle their contracts, but also make this a place where they want to work and they want to have a career and be part of our community. It doesn't stop addressing the recruitment issue. We've done some things to address the retainment issue, but still not with the recruitment. Hotel District Initiative. When I started drilling down with the police officers, why aren't you in our neighborhood streets like the residents want us to see, we started looking at where they're at, where are the calls for service. And these are part of the hardships we have by housing that airport, because the airport houses the hotel district. 30% of our calls for public safety go to the hotel district. So we started zeroing in and finding out why. We hired a new prosecutor. We wanted to go after the troubled sites. We wanted to push that out of our community. I'm pleased to announce that we've had a nearly 25% reduction in crime in the hotel district. So that's something to clap for. And thank you, Romulus police officers, for that. One of the conversations I had with an officer one time, I heard that sense of apathy, and that really alarmed me. He said, that's just the airport. That's just a hotel. You can't have that. So if our frontline guys feel that way, we're not supporting their efforts, and we got to double down. So now when police goes out there for negative action with somebody, the next day building department comes out, ordinance comes out, the full weight of City Hall comes, unless these guys know that we're raising that level of expectation. This kind of behavior is no longer wanted in our community. We're going to push them out. So it's been a group effort there with ordinance, police, building, and all the other departments to push that 25% reduction. And now because of that reduction, we're seeing additional hotel chains that want to invest in the city of Romulus. This is an interesting article we found in the mayor's office. 1970, when we first became a city, population was 19,000, 5,000 rooftops, give or take. And they were projected at that time to be a major hub in Wayne County, and a population by 1985 to 2000 should be right around 90,000 people. What happened? Because we obviously didn't get there, right? And we have the benefit to really look into economic development growth and find out why we didn't get there. Kelsey Hayes, Lear Seating, 2 big factories, 3,000 jobs in just those 2 sites. We're all based on automotive jobs. When they closed and went, we didn't pay attention to that. We weren't looking, how do we replace those jobs? How do we bring that economy back to our state, or our city? And when people say the things we're bringing now are just warehousing, it's more than that. It's jobs, it's economy. When you have Hayes Wheels, you have Dailies, you have downtown, it's thriving. Those things went away. Another thing we happened that nobody was paying attention to is 275. When you created 275, all of a sudden the people who came through Huron, through our downtown to get on 94, they got another way to go. So you pulled that traffic out of our downtown. Again, another challenge we're facing. We're going to find a solution for it. But here we are with those things. And again, I have the benefit of Monday morning quarterback. And I can sit back and go, wait, how did all this happen? And I also talked to John Crove and Dave Rackets, 2 wealth of knowledge in our city, been here for years. And they both talked about how they watch these things dry up and go away. All right, those are some of the challenges I'm still working on. We're not going to be talking about those next years and the years to come, but we're going to find solutions for those. I'm honored to be here at our Romulus High School tonight. These are our Romulus community schools, and we're here to work together to come up at the same time. And Dr. Evanson said it before, met him a couple of years ago when we were talking about development in this city, and I wanted to show him the real Romulus. We did a tour. And what I realized right off the bat, like me, he's a change agent. He's not going to keep doing what we're doing with expect different results. We're going to continue to find new ways and re-innovate. And that's why I love partnering with Ben on a lot of projects. And this is one of his quotes right here that really drives it home. So please welcome up one more time, Ben Evanson, Romulus Community School. You have the clicker, sir.
No. Unlike you, I didn't rehearse, so I don't even know how to do this. So thank you, Mayor. This is collaborative. That's what we're saying.
Teamwork.
So we have the real fast, and I told Bob that I would do 15 minutes or less. I actually said 10 minutes, so I got to get out of here as well. But Romulus Community Schools will be the first high-performing urban school district in the United States based on student achievement, teacher expectations, parental involvement, and business and community engagement. Everything that we do will be about these four things. I had an opportunity to present at the Chamber of Commerce, and I remember Judge Oakley, who has become a dear friend now too, asked me about the urban part. He said, urban? And I'm like, yes, urban. Okay, and we're urban for a number of reasons, okay, and it's not about race. Race is one of them, okay, roughly 80% of the kids are of color here, but we have a high transience rate too. We have a high free and reduced lunch rate. So these are some characteristics that make us urban. It's not just about being of color that's often associated with urban, so that's why that's in there, if we can. Thank you.
We can.
I put on here, a thriving city relies on a thriving school district. You can't have one without the other. One cannot leave the other either. So we can't be a thriving school without a thriving city, and you can't be a thriving city and leave out the schools. So I just want everybody to know that. That's why we are dedicated to working together to become thriving in everything that we do together and as well as the city. As you know, we announced my Board of Education. One, Miss Judy Kennard is here. She walked in as well. She's a board member as well, so we have 4 of them that are here. My executive cabinet, I believe I see Dr. Gardner, and we have Mr. Adam Dennison, who is our Director of Technology, who's up there and he's running the show here too. And I'm Dr. Edmondson, so if we can move on, please. Thank you. Truth plus transparency is trust. One thing that I say, in my role, I have to be truthful with you. I'm always going to be transparent. There is not a question that you can't ask me, even the things that make me uncomfortable. I'm going to share, because you can't move forward if you're not going to be honest about who you are and where you are and where you're going. And I believe that if I'm truthful and we're truthful as a school district and we're transparent, that we will gain your trust. We don't deserve your trust. Nobody deserves your trust if they're not going to be truthful and transparent with you. So what you're going to get today, in my 2 or 3 minutes left, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's what you're going to get. Some of this is going to make us uncomfortable because it makes me uncomfortable. I lose sleep when I think about some of the things that I'm going to share, but most of these are positive, if we can go on. Thank you. Mayor, you're doing a great job, man. Thank you. I love this. I love the role reversal. It's wonderful. Truth. Let me say this. Property value is directly correlated to your local public school. So when I hear people say, I'm not going to vote for a millage, I'm not going to vote for a bond, okay, that's going to hurt you, because that directly impacts your property value. So as much as you can, I don't care if you're in Romulus or anything else, every superintendent should tell you, you roll with your school district, because we've seen what happens when you lose a school district. Your most precious prize beside your family is likely your house, and then it has no value. So that's why we are dedicated to pushing, and making this school district, because the better we do, the property value is going to increase. And you need to hold us to that as well, but not just us, families as well. This is Romulus from 1900s to 2020. This is a lot of the things, a lot of our logos that you've seen around town, but now we have rebranded, just like the mayor has rebranded, just like the Detroit Lions have rebranded. They got a coach that's on fire, and everybody knows it, has flipped the culture of the Detroit Lions. Same thing that we're trying to do in Romulus. Everybody talks about the great things that happen in Romulus. I want those too. But I don't want to be the Romulus of 2000s. I want to be the new Romulus. We want to be the new Romulus. Put us on the map again. This is the new Romulus brand. You can see all of these things that we have done here. Our phrase is tomorrow starts today. Maybe you've seen the commercials, but tomorrow starts today. Everything we're thinking about for tomorrow, we're doing today. Okay, you see the us, we've worked really hard on putting that on billboards. You've seen them when you come into town. We want you to know where you are. And in the middle, which confuses a lot of people. I get it, because it's Latin. If you didn't take Latin, you probably don't know, but that's okay. Somus omnis means we are all. We are all Romulus. That's what that means. So when you see that crest, we are all Romulus. In this room, doesn't matter if you're RCS, or your Metro Charter, or your Summit, we're all Romulus. Now, the one thing you might get me on, but I certainly tried, is the Roman numeral says 1946. I went out to the community. I asked everybody that I could possibly ask, when did Romulus community schools start, or Romulus schools start? Best I could get was 1946. If I'm wrong, please tell me so that we can get that fixed. But we did an extensive measures to get that. Moving right along there, am I doing all right on time?
Right now, I'm sure he knows. He might have been here.
Something you need to know, the demographics of our school district. If you take a look, I don't want to have to necessarily go over that. I think it's a large enough font that, whoa, you're going too fast now. I just want people to see the demographic. This is the demographics, okay, racially or ethnic-wise of the school district. So you have an idea. There has been a seismic shift, I think, because when I looked at the last time, it was 50-50. The community is 50-50, but not the schools. There's been a complete, people left. People left for whatever reason. That's not my job to tell that story. But people have left, and primarily we have African-American students that are in the school district. Not a problem. It is what it is. You educate whoever's in front of you. Next. Something you need to know. I had a clicker, but I don't have it in front of me now. But the clicker is, this is our enrollment patterns. From 2008, Mayor, to 2022, we're in the blue. Look what has happened since 2008, when Romulus had 4,200. We don't have 2,258. That was last year. We have 2,100. This is a trend in all Michigan schools, though. I need you to know that, in all Michigan schools. But that's a precipitous fall. Okay? I don't have the answers as to why. Many of you live in a community. Maybe you have an idea. This will give you the idea of how many students we have and what grades. Most of our students that are lost between middle school, between elementary and middle school. Well, we're doing something about that, and I'll explain it, and then I'll sit down shortly.
I'm not rushing you.
Percent of resident students attending school districts. What you need to do is look at the blue again. At one point in 2010, nearly 80% of the kids that lived in Romulus went to Romulus schools. Look what has happened. There's a little uptick. I'm excited about that. There's a little uptick. In 21, 22, and hopefully 23, we get a little higher. But we have lost 2,100 students that live in this community are choicing out of Romulus community schools. You need to know that. If you live here, you have to know that. Okay? I love all kids. I tell that to the mayor. Wherever you feel that your child or your grandchild needs to go to school, I'm okay with that. You need to determine what is best for your child. If it's not us, then that's fine. But we're absolutely working hard to make certain that we are the premier option for your child if you live in Romulus. Next. This one here this is what makes me lose sleep. This is mathematics. That's the state test from grades 3 through 7. The green represents proficient. The red represents not proficient. You can look at all the neighboring schools. Nobody can sit there and say they're doing well. Nobody. So when I often hear, oh, Romulus schools I've heard it, they're terrible. Look at everybody else. Everybody else, and I'm not comparing myself. I don't like that number, but it's a problem across the state. And I tell you, it's a problem in the United States, not just here. We have work to do. Next, that's math. Did you flip? And this is now math, or I don't know. Is this the second one? Okay, English now. Same thing, and you can see Huron School, okay, about the same size roughly now, but they're doing well. But still 60%. But still, I would love to have 60. But as you can see, okay, some of the more urban school districts are the ones that are You can see. But we have some work to do, ELA. I'm not going to blame kids that come into our district, but we have a lot of transient kids. But I'm doing data now to find out how are the kids that have been here doing versus how are the kids that are coming in. We need to have the narrative be correct. Whatever it is I need, when I go and talk about truth and transparency, the narrative has to be correct. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's the Inkster kids. First of all, Inkster kids are our kids. So let's never say that again. Inkster kids are our kids. They're Romulus kids. Moving on, Mayor. Now let's talk about the good stuff, and then I'm out. These are all the great things that are happening. I beg you, I'm begging you to be knowledgeable, to be on my email system. Those of you that are on it, you know that I send out emails all the time telling you what we're doing. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. Because truth plus transparency equals trust. These are some of the things that we have. We've improved the culture. Thanks to the mayor here, we got $1.6 million with Darren Camilleri, state senator. 1.6 for an investment in Michigan CTE. That's about relationships. He didn't just do it. It's that he knows what we're trying to do over here, and I love working with this man because we're able to get stuff done together. Okay, we have those Tums that he had up. We share those Tums and we talk about them. Support for Forgotten Harvest, we have I was going to say Congresswoman, no. City Council, Virginia Williams, I'm 55, I'm sorry, I'm not as quick as I used to be. So she's really been instrumental with us in partnering with Forgotten Harvest. And all these other things, let's get to the next page. Same thing, I don't want to read all of this, but we have a chess club coming, finally. We're going to have a chess club, we have esports. We are making this school district be an option because it hasn't been an option. But we're going to be an option with all of this, a recommitment to CTE, improved staff morale, we've settled contracts, we're selling Merriman. I am determined to take down Mount Pleasant. I am determined to take that building down. You don't ever leave a building that you don't know what to do with it, you never close it on your community, because that happens and your community turns on you. Next, we're getting...
They're not counting the number of letters before or after your name. They're not counting your degrees or your years of experience. And they're not counting your awards or accomplishments. At the end of the day, they're simply counting on you. They're counting on me, and they're counting on us.
I'm not here to recruit kids. That's not what I'm here for. I want you as people that live in this community, as citizens, taxpayers, supporters, some that don't support us. I want you to know what we're doing here. That's what I care about. If we're not your choice, I'm okay with that. But you have seen commercials that we put out on Hulu and Facebook showing the things that we are doing in this school district. This video was one of them, and I'm going to get off now. Let's get to the last one. There is no us without you. Thank you.
I'm gonna wait till back next year. Now you guys know I love this man. Like I said, the change agent, meeting the change agent, we're gonna change the culture together. And I'm excited about the things that we got going on right here. And people say all the time, why are you doing these things with the schools? Why are you doing this? We got our hands full. We got a lot of things we're trying to change in this city. But if our schools aren't coming along and growing with us, it's going to continue to pull us down. I can't tell you how many times I've sat with an economic development person who wants to invest in our community, and they're making their decision based on how much they're going to invest in our community based on our school district. So if they're struggling, we're struggling. We're in this together. Like you said, it's Romulus. We are one Romulus. So I love the work they're doing over there. Heading in the right direction. Long way to go, but heading in the right direction. So thanks, man. I appreciate you doing your portion here and be a part of it, and also training me on a new skill. So, all right, past the challenges, past the schools, on to some things we're working on in the community. First and foremost, financial stability. Once again, this is our third year running. Another budget balanced, going to go before City Council here shortly. We're working through the process right now. And also, all the experts say we should be saving in our general fund 20 to 25%. Romulus is sitting at a healthy 35%. So for this, financial and fiscal responsibility continues to be a standard here at City of Romulus. We're going to make sure we're doing good. And also, watching our general fund, make sure we have money in our rainy day account. So No applause for that, just crickets. I sat in somebody who sees that serious struggle, so you look at that, and that's a good mark to hit. 37% is no joke. So, and thank you to my financial team too, because they do an outstanding job, and also my directors, because they always submit needs over wants. Is a need or is a want, and we have to do it to move forward, and that's where we're at. So they continue to do good work with a baseline budget. The visioning process. First year in office, we did the visioning process. We wanted direction from the residents, where they wanted us to go. These were the 5 pillars they wanted to see us focus on, and these are the things that are important to them. So we continue to push and set goals in the direction to support these initiatives and directives given to us by our residents. The One Romulus pillar, they thought that was important, that branding, everybody wants to be a part of something, so we're going to continue to push on the One Romulus. Geographic advantage, they wanted to see us continue to grow using our geographic advantage. We have 2 major highways, 2 major railways, and DTW we already talked about. How do we continue to use that to grow this community and use it for our advantage? Neighborhood areas and corridors, another thing they want to see us focus on. Thriving families. We want to see recreation come back. They want to see something new. We had to get rid of all that years ago, and we're bringing it back. And future workforce. How do we build a Romulus, and this is another time to our schools, where these kids have a heart for this community and want to stay here. We want to build a community that they want to grow here, learn here, thrive here, maybe go off to college someday, but come back and raise their family here. So we're going to focus on future workforce as well, too. Part of, you can see right here, this is the accountability team. I named it that because those are my key advisors in my administration, and every Wednesday morning we have a meeting and we talk about objectives and work that was assigned to be done, and they're held accountable to me every Wednesday morning. The best part of this one, it's almost like municipal government 101. You have police, fire, DPW, IT, finance, all in the same room, all hearing what each other's struggles were and challenges are. And that helps them all run together. It's not competitive nature. It's police knowing what fire is doing, fire knowing what DPW is doing, knowing what IT struggles are and how they help. So it's a great atmosphere. Every quarter we have 4 meetings to discuss key objectives and goals for the next quarter. And that's an 8 to 10 hour meeting sometimes. I lock them in a room. We talk about the issues that we need to do. We'll beat them up, talk about them, identify, discuss, and find solutions for them, and move us forward here. You'll see it right here. We had a visitor at the last one. Chief of Staff brought Elmo along because sometimes we'll keep chewing up an idea. It's something we need to work on. Elmo was there for, what is it? Enough, let's move on, right? So we've talked about it enough, let's get going here. We're running out of steam, let's quit talking about it and find some action. So Elmo came into the meeting last time. It was a great meeting, and great action comes out of that meeting. Right under the One Romulus, we want to have more events. This is more community events we have. Honored by the VFW to be chosen as a Purple Heart community. They saw the work that we do in Romulus, and they delineated us as a Purple Heart community, so I'm very proud of that. So give yourself a round of applause for that. You guys don't wake up, it's going to be a long 3 hours, I'll tell you that. Also, our Juneteenth celebration, hats off to McCraight for setting that up last year. Looking forward to doing that again. Great celebration, reading with the library, be part of the community. And our DDA director, Jerry Frayer, did a great job his first year out of the gate. I'm excited to see him get built next year. Great opportunity downtown. Movies in the park. We kicked it up with the DDA. We had Santa Claus came to town again this year. We'll continue to build those events. And also an event we have in this community that I'm very proud of, and I think it needs some more attention, is the MLK Walk. What a great person. Did you forget something?
55, man, 55.
You're from Jersey, I'll forgive you on that one. But our MLK Walk, what a great event for a great man, a great visionary leader that we have. So I'd like to help, to work with our schools and work with the Ministerial Alliance to build that event up. It's a great event that we have in our community, often goes unnoticed. Some of the brandings and initiatives you see Jerry working on with the DDA, the sounds in our district. So to play on words, we want to rebrand it. We weren't really that historic downtown anymore. We only have 3 or 4 old buildings down there. We're working on different things. So, Jerry, get some energy, come out of the box, come up with what we can. So we came up with the art district branding. So less was more. Instead of having more events every week during the summertime, do less, bring in bigger bands. Let's create an event everybody wants to be at. They're going to put on their calendars. He did a great job. Again, give it up for Jerry. Last year, I'm excited. Bring the entertainment that's going to bring in a crowd and also theme it a little bit. So it looks like on June 14th, we're doing the alumni nights, bring your maroon and white. 50 amp fuse is coming in July. And then also, I'm going to miss this one. I'm kind of bummed. I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's the Shagadelics. We're doing 70s night in August. So mark your calendars for that. It's going to be a good time. Communications. We kept hearing during the campaign, I never knew about it. How do we increase communication? So Mike Laskaska, our communications director, came up with the Studio 1R. So you're going to see more snippets right here of videos we're working on, just trying to share the information. They'll be running on our cable channel, they'll be running on YouTube. Hot topics, things that concern the city. We're going to continue to get the word out, communicate. Also, the community connection, this was a great idea too by Mike Laskaska, goes out quarterly, and it tells you about ongoings in the city, and it's a hard copy paper that people wanted back in that mailbox, and they did that. So Mike, great job. Give him a round of applause for that. Geographic advantage, the next pillar. How do we continue to grow and take advantage of where we're at? Two key slides right here are the sheets and then the burrito bar down below it. Because for years for Romulus, we had trouble with franchises. Now we have some franchises, it's some retail. And what's significant there is it shows that retail will work. Burrito bar, Lefty's cheesesteak, Starbucks is right there, and also tropical smoothie. Sheets, that's the first expansion by a company that's family owned and operated for 20 years. And that's their first venture into the state of Michigan. And they chose Romulus in this location we have. That's pretty significant, you guys. And they showed up right at the groundbreaking with $10,000 checks for a library, for Forgotten Harvest, and also who else? Who else did they have money for? Special Olympics. So yeah, I'll clap for that. Clap for that, you guys. Because we want, and you'll hear us talk about all the time, we want relationships. We don't want a one and done. We don't want you to build and go along the way. What I liked about Sheets was it's family owned and operated. They don't franchise it out. So they're going to be vested in that, and they're going to keep coming back. And they're already going through process for the second Sheets in Michigan, and that's also going to be on Middle Belt Road. Excited about that, well, but more excited because they're already on the ground running to be a community partner. I'll get the hang of this liquor sooner or later. Rooftops. We hear it all the time. We don't get development because we don't have the rooftops. How do we increase that number? So Gateway Homes, we've approved 91 new homes going over there to wrap up the Gateway subdivision. But we're not resting on that. We're already looking for where's the next. That construction will last a couple of years. Where are the next hot topics? Where are the next place where we can build houses at in the city around us? Continue that trend to build new rooftops. Right here, we're all over it with our legislators, and the state launched one of the biggest priorities for the governor right now is new workforce housing. It's a term you hear a lot. Workforce housing. We're bringing jobs to this area. Where are they going to live? Romulus has over 3,000 acres of undeveloped residential property. All of our state legislators hear that. We have 300 acres for this. So we're ready to go, you guys. Part of the frustration being from Romulus all the time is not knowing where you're at. We know where we're at. We've driven these roads, and one day I was, took this picture, driving the roads that want to do a promotional video about where you're at in Romulus. Drove down 275, drove down 94, over 6 exits and interchanges with Romulus streets. Only one of them tells you that you're in the city of Romulus. This one right here is 94 westbound, Wayne Road, Wayne. Wayne is 5 miles down the road. Where's Romulus at? So we started talking to MDOT. How do we change it? How do we get these signs to get our name out there? Let people know where you're at when you come to our community. We're more than just an airport. And I'm excited about this next project, but that led us to this, to working with MDOT and taking advantage of some 94 improvements we're going to be doing. And this should be coming in 2025. We're working with MDOT right now. We're going to do this extensive branding project to let you know this is where you're at in Romulus. See, it's in Romulus red, and it shows our name. You're going to know where you're at when you come through our community, and we're not just an airport. These are like 6-inch aluminum blades with LED lightings. We'll be able to change those, red, white, and blue during the 4th of July, red and green during Christmas, whatever we want to do. But it puts us on the map, and it lets people know, oh, there's where I was when I was in Romulus. I know where I'm at. My favorite picture, and to move that a little bit. Staff loves this one. I'm not a big fan of it. But I was selling some suits for JCPenney, and they had this ad up there. This is the benefits of regional development of Airtropolis. You've heard the name a lot, and you've heard us talk about Airtropolis. Well, what actually is it? It's really an organization of different communities that are in this area that are focused on job creation and development. So we work a lot with Chris Girdwood. Chris, are you here? Yep. Right back there. Give him a round of applause, you guys. He's almost like a real estate agent for the city of Romulus. Somebody will reach out on a project, Ford wants to do something, and they need X amount of square feet, and they had X amount of jobs in the area, and that's when he goes to work. Then he works with Kevin in economic development. We bring it here, hopefully bring it development. But we talk about regional developments. These boundaries around Romulus we created were more than just that. It's not Van Buren and Flat Rock and Huron and Taylor. It's a regional development. So we partner with these different communities. So he did write-ups on all these guys. So here we have Clay from Charter Township of Huron, I'm sorry. Van Buren Township, McNamara, and also Mayor Willie from Taylor. So it talks about the growth and development. How do we harness that region? Because like I said, these borders we create. Economic development doesn't create borders. They look at areas, region, accessibility. So a win for Romulus is a win for all three of these. A win for Van Buren is a win for Romulus. So that's how we look at regional partnerships. Retail strategy is another tool. You know, we know the capabilities of Romulus, but how do you market Romulus and take it? So we brought in retail strategies, funded through TIFA and DDA. What they do is not just rooftops, they do traffic counts. They pull all the data out of their cell phones, they know who's traveling where and why, how long they're staying here. They take that to multiple conferences throughout the whole country, and they find your franchises, your Chick-fil-A, your different developments, and they show them this is why you want to be here in Romulus. So I'd love to be reported on a lot of things that are coming here right now, but right now there's a lot of things that are iffy. And one thing we've seen in Romulus is we talk about them, they don't come, so I don't want to talk about them yet, but this has been a great tool to tell the Romulus story at a different level. Another thing we're talking about, regional partnership, we talk about the hotel and the issues we have in the hotels. They're also a major economic engine in itself. So we've started to focus on that with retail development. So we talk about the 25,000 people who live here in the city of Romulus, but the hotels we have the most hotel rooms outside of Detroit and Wayne County. So how do we focus that? You know, how do we use that for a tool? And we started to partner with them, and we talk about these quarterly meetings we have with the hotels. We want to hear what the concerns are, their thoughts on how can we do better, and also raising that level of expectations in our city. So we're continuing to do work there and make sure that those businesses are thriving too and doing well. Out of those meetings came the business to business that we had. You see here, Rube Raj came to mediate here. Chris from Metropolis. We had Claude Molinari from the Visit Detroit Bureau came out, and it was all about regional development, regional partnerships. And that's how we helped land the around-the-clock tour. So great event, Kevin, and you guys and your staff at the RAC last week. So round of applause for you guys on that. It was really nice to have people focus on our RAC that aren't just from Romulus, they're from the area, and they were blown away by how nice it is. So it was a great event. Talking about the News Herald and different articles that go out. We've heard the E-Cities designation before, and Romulus has been out front. It's based on growth and ease of development. This year they kicked it up a notch, and we were one of the 5 in Michigan honored communities. So not only E-City, but the E-City honored communities, and it's 1 out of 5. So again, economic development team, give them a round of applause for that. Moving through this too, we talk about the Smart Bus. We got Route 280, so we're working with Smart Bus and that team to bring transportation. What good is it to have the jobs here if nobody can get to work? So we had to bring back Route 280. So I'm happy to see that, and we're working in the region, and also we're working on trying to expand that as well. Drone technology, everybody's favorite subject, right? It's coming. And Romulus is planes, trains, and automobiles. Why not drones, right? Let's be in front of this thing. And it's not the boogeyman going to float around with a camera in your backyard, spying in your back windows. There's technology here. And we want Romulus to be on the forefront of the communications on this one. We want to be part of how we continue to grow this. There's so many advantages to working with drones. Public safety, fire department, police department. Imagine the police department having eyes on the scene before they get to a scene and being able to de-escalate. So it's a huge tool for us. Building inspections. Minimizing your efforts as far as staffing and building inspections. Retail. Why send, a 5,000-pound truck to deliver a $5 car part? Drone technology is coming. It is in retail, and we want to make sure Romulus was ahead of the curve here with that development. And if you're in on the beginning of it, you're going to help stabilize it and make the rules and regulations with drone flight in the area.
Airspace Link is like Google Maps for drones, but the roads don't exist yet. So we're putting in the digital infrastructure required to integrate drones into the national airspace and into our communities. Geospatial technology is mapping systems. Whenever you look at a map, there's a lot of data behind that, and you have to have systems to build those maps. The federal government, state and local government, operators, manufacturers, all have to work together. So Airspace Link is really a data repository to make that a seamless process. We came up with a platform that allows you to understand the type of drone you're flying, the type of license you have, the type of airspace you're in. We partner with the FAA to make it so that as an operator, I can click a button and understand how high can I fly, how far can I fly, and then communicate with air traffic control towers so that they can contact me if there's an issue with the area that I'm flying in. We also integrate into state and local governments where we start to pull not just the air data, but the ground data, the hazards, schools, hospitals, population densities, all the data that would help an operator understand how to fly safely through a community. And that data is then published through our federal system. We have drones being used for medical delivery, food delivery, pipeline inspections, roof inspections, weddings, you name it. Our system is helping authorize and give these drones access to the airspace to do business. Before New Lab, we didn't have the environment to modify our office or fly drones, but we're now in a space that's all about mobility. And the building is something that we can customize. It's created a destination for the drone industry. We're on the brink of drones being deployed at scale. Drones are making a positive impact, reducing traffic and CO2 emissions. And our mission is to safely integrate drones into the national airspace and into our communities.
So that's why we're working closely with Airspace Link. And like I said, we say all the time, if you're not at the table, you're going to be on the menu. We want to make sure we're a part of this thing. And you would be amazed at the partnerships and the people who want to get involved in the drone technology. When we first sat in the meetings, I saw John Deere on there, and I thought, why would John Deere as a corporation want to be behind this? Well, all the farmers thinking about checking the North 40 and sending drones out to see where the deer eat, where they need fertilizer. We thought the airport would be an obstacle. The airport's been a great partnership with it because Chattanooga wants to use airport security with drones. They have a fence or a perimeter breach. They want to send a drone out right now, and it's going to be a lot faster. So this is the way things are going. And we talk about retail. We're going to see it in our lifetime where these trucks drive down the road and the drones fly off and they deliver to each house. Probably a lot of shoes to my house. But they're going to continue with send usually a clap for shoes. But we're going to see that in our lifetime. So let's make sure they're doing it right, safe, and the people who are flying these around the airport are licensed. People say, where are these drones going to fly to? A lot of them are using railways. That's why Romulus makes sense as well. You fly over top of the railway, you're not flying across neighborhoods, there's no suspicion going on. Let's use the highways, let's use roadways. So neighborhood areas and corridors, another key area to focus on, taking care of these neighborhoods and these streets. The Romulus Athletic Center, again, a lot of different cities out here, we're getting ARPA dollars and they all want to do a recreation center. And they were all coming to Romulus to take a look at ours, what works and what didn't work. So it wasn't long before we realized that we were getting a little long in the tooth, and they all want to have a center as nice as that one. So again, hats off to Kevin and his team for cracking down and really keeping Romulus Athletic Center at the top of the list and renovating it. TIFA, we've been creatively using TIFA money on that. They've been more than happy to partner with that, and another $250,000 investment in keeping the rack on top. So again, thank you to our TIFA and the Economic Development team. Right behind the rack, we have the grand opening last year for the community park. You know, Opportunity Park, it's a nice walkway back there, some playscapes to play on. We had some residents show up and do some painting out here with their kids. It was nice to see, but growing recreational opportunities in our community. Oak Brook Dog Park, this is part adjacent to it. We were able to secure some grant funding for new equipment out there at the Oak Brook Dog Park, and also some renovations to that park as well, coming via DPW here shortly. Marianne Banks Park, scheduled to be under construction this year. I'm excited about this. This is a premier park in our downtown. The old ice rink you see up here, it's all being replaced, ADA accessible, pickleball courts, skating opportunities. Again, we're going to get people out there recreating in our downtown. Some ADA required or accessible playground equipment will be installed as well, and also these sidewalks. We heard from a lot of residents that, hey, there's no way to get from the parking lot to the restroom, and we need to make them all barrier-free and make sure it's all it gives everybody access to it. So I'm excited about that, and they'll be starting construction on that this year. Again, no clapping yet. Lead service line investigation, DPW, Roberto and his team working hard to make sure that we're getting quality, safe drinking water. So continue to work on our lead service line investigation and continue to look for grant funds to do that. You know, this is some of the stuff that we don't think about as being that glamorous stuff, but this is life safety. I said to everybody all the time when I worked at DPW, you use police and fire some of the time. You use DPW all the time. So the unsung heroes of these communities are the guys that are out there doing the work. So proud of the work they're doing over there to make sure we're having safe, potable drinking water. Also, water loss. It's a commodity. The city pays for water, and then they have a pass-through cost when it comes to your house. We have a water loss. That's a commodity we're losing, so we need to track down and make sure we're finding all that. So Roberto's been very aggressive in finding any water loss, and because of that, the review, local communication, picked it up, rated this report on all the hard work he's doing to find out and track down water loss. So Roberto, great job on that, DPW team. We also started a program at the DPW. If you want to be a building inspector, you got to have a license. Want to be a mechanic, got to have a license. Guys that worked on our water line, our front line, they didn't have to have licenses. They worked under the foreman or the DPW directors. So we created an incentive package for our frontline DPW workers to pursue those S licenses. Elevate them up a little bit, make sure they know what's going on. And our frontline guys who are working on a water main break at 2 a.m. understand the system and how to make safe repairs. So hats off to our DPW guys for taking the initiative there and working on their S licenses. And that's just going to directly benefit you guys every day. Those are the things that you don't see that go on in our DPW. MEDC sidewalk program. Oddly enough, the way our charter is written, the sidewalks are the property of the city. We make you plant a tree there on our property, then when the tree destroys the sidewalk, we make you repair the sidewalk. So that's not a good program, right? So we worked with MEDC, we got a grant, and that directly impacted a lot of the residents. We did most of the community, didn't get all of them, we're still working on more funding. But we got to get in these neighborhoods and fix these sidewalks, so that was a great program. We'll continue to look for funds for that. Wayne Road sidewalk, we'll talk about that. You know, we see all the time that there's a need for that. You see pedestrians all the time walking along Wayne Road. We're going to be starting that here soon. And it's going right down Wayne Road, and that's part of the MDOT TAP grant. So looking forward to that project starting this year. Thank you to Wayne County and MDOT. You know, a lot of these roads that we have that we can't do anything with them, they're county roads. So last year the county came out, they redid Pennsylvania Road for us, also Huron River Drive resurfacing project with MDOT, and then Eureka Road repairs. So we're working on some additional things right now. We're in conversations about Wayne Road, because we're all excited about that. Stay tuned on that. We don't have any final dates yet, but we're working on that. And also the Brant Road completion over there in the Oak Brook subdivision. That road was terrible. It was embarrassing to be under our jurisdiction. However, working with block grants and community development, we're able to secure grants and finish that project. Wayne Road and Wayne and Ecorse intersection. That was such a heavy lift. A lot of people just saw it and said, oh, it's been closed forever. The county and MDOT got on that so quickly. And when you start construction, you don't know what you're into until you dig into the ground. And once it got into the ground, they found a lot of undocumented fuel tanks over there. Utilities were in their way, so it threw some pretty significant obstacles. They weren't able to wrap it up the last construction season. So to be added soon here in the spring to knock this thing out. And it ties itself into this whole development here. So Ecorse Road is a truck route. It goes right from I-94 right to 275, right through our industrial district where we're building up and developing. But we know that that road needs help. So rather than go to Wayne County and say, hey, you need to redo the Ecorse Road, we're working with Aerotropolis, we're working with Van Buren, we're working with Taylor to create an LDFA. And then there's a funding mechanism. So now when we go to Wayne County and say, we got to repair this road, we have funds with us to get that thing kicked off. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Again, those are things we're looking at. Those might be 3, 4, 5 years, but we know they need to be done. We know where all the development's happening is where it's bottlenecked in Romulus. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll have some action soon on that one. Local street projects. Again, using TIFA as creatively as we can. They have agreed to fund the project on Smith Road. Smith Road between Maryland and Middlebelt. I don't know if you travel that route, but that road is destroyed. And that's our road. We have a significant investor over there that wants to grow that area, but not in the road condition it is. So if we're going to redo that road, it makes sense to widen that road. So we've started right now with TIFA to relocate the water main so we can start the initial phases of widening that road. And that's done with TIFA funds as well. And then also they've also agreed to fund North Line Road. So significant investments on behalf of our TIFA board. So I don't know if we have any TIFA board members here, but a round of applause for TIFA. back to our neighborhood streets in Niagara subdivision and also Huron River Estates. I heard from some residents today we already have some markings on the road, so we'll be doing some cutting and patching here soon, and we'll take care of some streets in our neighborhoods. Public safety. If we don't have a safe community, we don't have a community, right? That's where it all starts. And we've been focused on police and fire, but it was nice to get a safer grant secured, 6 new firefighters. And what that does too is our firefighters were stretched so thin on mandatory overtime that you could see that morale going. And we don't need that in our community. So 6 new firefighters have really leveled some things off. So 27 full-time firefighters, 15 of the 27 are paramedics. So the people, when you call when you need it, they're certified. And also 11 of them were sent to paramedic school based on a workforce grant. So, and we also made sure they were taking care of their contract. Increased growth, increased call for service. You see the jump right here from 2022 to 2023. You see the significant growth in calls for service for the fire department. Again, these guys always have a smile on their face, they're always part of the community. Get up for our fire department, you guys are great guys. You see guys like Santa, different programs. They had their first curling team out here this year, so they had a curling team, took a shot. I don't think it did well, but they had a lot of fun out there, so they're always part of our community. Police department. How do we help the police department in ways that we can control? You know, we can't go out there and manufacture a new police officer, but we can make sure our guys here have a healthy work environment. So we're also proud to settle that contract, make sure our guys have one of the premier contracts in the area, and we're going to stop that retention issue that we're having in a lot of police departments. That's a statewide issue. That's not just ours. Right now, with that climate in the country, a lot of people don't want to be police officers. So how do you keep your guys here? And that's why it's important to settle that contract. And we also want to settle subliminal little messages and show them that we support them. You know, we support the blue here. You see the banners that we had right here? They were in our hotel district. You know, that's what those guys are doing, the meat, potatoes, and all the work. We want to make sure that they know that we support them. This is our police department. I don't know if we want to put this in the channels, but I want to make sure we're sharing this information with everybody out there. It's embarrassing for the city of Romulus. This has been a priority. We put them in a 100-year-old school in 1980s with promises of building a police station. We haven't been able to do that yet, but my administration's focused on getting this thing taken care of. You'll see the hodgepodge, you know, the space heater we have here in the locker room. It's unacceptable. So we looked at 3 different viable locations. Do we construct new? Do we use the old court building? Or do we put the money and reinvest in this school or the old school building here? And after we talked to designers and engineers and the financial teams, it makes sense to rebuild our police department. We wouldn't be putting money into it or reinvesting if it was going to fall apart, but it's all built pre-war. And pre-war, those things are built to withstand a bombing rate. So a lot of the interior doesn't make sense. They've added offices and closets. Like I said, if you got into the inner workings of that department, you see how bad it is. But we're determined to get this thing and take care of it. We want our guys to come in here and have a healthy, good work environment, a good mindset, and not have to deal with space heaters in the middle of the floor and some other things we're working on. So they deserve better. We're going to give them better. EMD dispatch. EMD dispatch certification is huge because now the people you're talking to when you're in crisis have that extended training. So we increased dispatcher positions from 7 to 9. And like I said, move more towards the EMD certification and also different resources we have at our police department that are out there. COPE, First Step, Hygera, Hope Not Handcuffs, and GrowthWorks, all different community-based outfits that are housed in our police department to help you with your community needs and help move the community forward. Drug Task Force. You're going to hear more from this group, I have a feeling, in the time to come. And we created this environment where our whole generation looks for their answers to a pill bottle. You know, I have anxiety, I have an issue. But we wanted to have Pastor Willis talk a little bit about the Drug Task Force initiative and also the drop box that we have at our police station to take care of some of those issues.
So what we wanted to get out from the Drug Task Force, and actually allowed us time allow us to give us this time to make that happen, is that we have a drop box in downtown Romulus, and this drop box is a drug drop box for all prescription drugs. You can bring it there and drop it off. Just go in, open the lobby door, there's a drop box there, just put the drugs in, walk away. They don't ask you no name, you don't have to fill no cards out, you don't have to fill no ID, they just drop the drugs off. It's a great way, Mr. Mayor, we can get this across to the city of Romulus and the residents to start using it. Now, it has to be a 24-hour someone have to watch it all the time. Because otherwise, you can imagine, you know,
It has to be secure.
It has to be
Otherwise,
secure.
somebody will go after you.
Somebody will go after it. So, what better place to have it is at the police station. So, so it's there, and it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week.
And there's no questions asked. There's a drop-off, right? It's secure.
No question asked.
So that sums it up right there. It's a great organization for the police department. You know, a lot of people that might have access to that are like, yeah, you know what, if I go in there, they're tricking me, they're going to do some things. This is a legitimate, transparent program. We want to get those drugs off the street and put them in a secure, safe place. And the best place to do that is open 24 hours at the police department. So no questions asked, nobody's going to do anything, filled any identification on it. We just want to get those drugs to where they can be disposed of safely. Right, Pastor Willis? Again, just another slide talking about the police department and always being out part of our community. We know how tough it is for them to do their job. I keep a scanner going all the time in my kitchen. So being the first lady here all the time, you know, we know where the issues are in our community, and that can wear on these guys. Yeah, they sign on to be a police officer, but dealing with that negative impact all the time, day in and day out, is tough. And so I love when our guys show up. They show up for the kids. They show up for the community. They're always being a part of this. Here we have a young resident, Skyland, that came home. We recognized her at the council meeting. She came home and found her grandmother struggling in medical distress, and she knew how to call 911. She knew how to get the responders to her, so we recognized her at the fire department, at a council meeting. But if you notice, she's in a police slide with all this fire gear on it, so hey, they just one-upped police department. So well done, you guys. Give her a round of applause for Scott. Flock cameras. I'm sure you guys have seen these popping around all over our community right now, and you're wondering, what is that? Is that Big Brother? This is license plate reading technology. This is a force multiplier for our police department. This allows PD to be alerted when a bad guy's in our area. And Van Buren's on this, Taylor's on this, lots of cities in the area. It just makes sense to have this. I'm glad Romulus is rolling this program out. If a bad guy's in Van Buren and they're driving a red Dodge Ram with a dented fender, and they put it into the system, when that crosses into our borders, our police officers know that that bad guy's in our city. Best of all, what I like about this is the bad guys know what that are. You know, 80% of the violent crimes in this community is committed by people who aren't from Romulus. So these guys know what these cameras are, and they know we're watching, and they're going to take it right down the road. So, no claps for that. And you guys do it. And here to talk more about that is also Chief Fanis on how this is an enforcement multiplier for the police department.
And what it basically does is it takes a digital photograph of the license plates of the cars going by. And it's a passive database that's really searchable. So if you're driving by, it takes a picture of your car, your license plate, but it's not hooked up to anything that runs your plate in a computer, or it doesn't tell us who's driving it. It doesn't tell us anything other than that car with that license plate went by.
Right.
And I always call it a passive database, because if you don't search it, it just overwrites that.
Right.
And so it'll overwrite the whole database. So it creates this database that not only can we look up a car by a license plate, but we can look up a car by its description. If you had someone commit a crime and you see them taken off and they're in a white Chrysler 300 with a bumper sticker, but you didn't get the plate, we could literally go to what intersection we believe that car would have had to go through to leave the area, and look to see in that time frame, did we have a white Chrysler 300 with a bumper sticker go through there. And then we get the plate, and then that can be the beginning for some type of investigation.
So that's another reason we move forward with bringing that technology to our community. And it's not just about reactive police enforcement. They've used this technology to save lives before, too. You've had people wander off who are diminished mental capability. Where'd they go? How do we find these people? They've researched these cameras, because it's all reactive, to find out where they're at and how do they find those people. So it's a great tool, and I'm proud that Romulus is part of that program as well. Ordinance enforcement, cleaning up our community. Ordinance department has done a heck of a job over there. If you look at the totals we have right here, 2022 compared to 2023, ordinance investigations up from 801 to 1,179. They're out there and they're busy. They're cleaning our city up. You see some before and after pictures that we got going on. I love this number right here, so I put a star on it. In 2022, we had 225 registered compliances with the code enforcement. We had 800 in this year. So people are getting the message, and they're starting to clean this community up. We're raising that bar of expectations in our community. Also, you know, in last ditch effort is citations, and they'll write them if they have to get compliant. So went up from 60 to 185. So they're out there doing their job, and they're keeping this city clean, and they're taking an active part in raising that bar. So where's our ordinance team? I see a couple of them over here. And a round of applause for ordinance today. The message is getting out that we're not going to have these standards anymore, that we're going to raise that bar of expectations. Citywide cleanup, this is my plug. If you're not busy Saturday coming out, it's not going to get done alone. I got to give acknowledgement to Councilman Leroy Burcroft when he started this program years ago, and it's grown over years. So Leroy started this thing years ago. I'm proud to see it grow. This year we have a lot of corporate sponsorships in here, and they're going to be a part of it. This year, you see in this picture, we had St. John's Live guys out. We had multiple community events. We had the high school football team out. So people taking the time to clean their own community up. We all see that we have a littering issue right now. There's something going on, in this whole region. It's not just Romulus, but we got to clean our own city up here. The assessors department right here, I'll highlight this. They had a creative idea. They were not free on Clean Sweep last year, so they said, we're going to come in another day. So I'm going to encourage anybody here that might want to do that to pick those days out and let us know when you're going to do that. But we got to work in together. Many hands make light work, and we clean this community up. A few corporate sponsorships that helped out with Clean Sweep this year: Public Service, Republican, McDonald's, Expeditors, Dollar Generals, Kroger, DTW, Unified, the Magnuson Hotel, KLS, and also JMC Management. So those are all partners at Clean Sweep this year. So let's get out and support that, get these things cleaned up. And it's nice to have these corporate sponsorships as well. Thriving families. Another key initiative that people wanted us to drive, another focus we have in our pillar was thriving families. Create those opportunities for our families to thrive in the city. So, Colleen McCraight, I know she had T-ball, that's another thing. She started T-ball, we're bringing baseball back to Romulus, so give it up for her even though she ain't here. She's done a great job since coming back and working with our recreation division and creating multiple events. You see the families have things to do to get out of the house and enjoy their family time. We got youth basketball thriving again. She did a couple of events, a dance-offs with mother and son, and father and daughter. The Easter egg event that we had at the historic park this year, but thriving families are going to continue to bring events like that back to Romulus. This is the cool part, and I'm sorry if those kids got antsy. So we wanted to create an event or an award from the mayor's office that's going to be designated to somebody who exemplifies the city of Romulus outside of our borders. There's a perception issue with the city of Romulus. When we did surveys years ago that said 300 people outside the city randomly surveyed thought that they thought of crime when they thought of Romulus. Conversely, 300 people inside our community, 82% of them felt safe. So that's a perception issue. So how do we work on that? So people who are going beyond our borders and showing the true Romulus pride and spirit, we want to recognize them. So this is our first year that we're doing the Ambassador Award for somebody who's gone beyond our borders and show what Romulus is all about. So that being said, I'd like to welcome to the stage our Romulus Flyers youth football team. Come on up. Freshman 2023 team went and they won the Peanut Bowl Championship this year. So we want to acknowledge them with the first Ambassador Award going to the 2023 Flyers team. So thank you, Wesley. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Round of applause, you guys. We're traveling beyond our borders and showing people that Romulus is more than just an airport, more than just an industrial town. And we got to work to make sure that those kids stay here and become Eagles, not Belleville Tigers, right? Senior Center. After COVID happened and all of our seniors, they stopped being active, they stayed in homes. So we want to make sure we get reactive in our Senior Center. So we've increased programming over there. Rose and her team, where you at, Rose? They've done a great job. Look at this number right here. 40,000 hot meals served in 2023. That's a huge number, you guys. So great job, Rose. Keep taking care of our seniors. She's got a genuine heart for that job, and she does a great job. So thank you, Rose. Again, with thriving families, we're putting new bodies out there in the city of Romulus. We want to make sure we're highlighting our new employees. You'll see the names, and these are the new officers you're going to see on our streets. We want to make sure you see those faces of these guys. You know who they are. They're more than just a badge. Also, our fire department. I did notice here, I don't see one mustache, so I don't know if there's been a change in initiative there in our fire department, but all new employees that are out there, no mustaches. We're going to have to work on that. New people in our clerk's office, economic development team, the tech services, senior services, all new employees. You're going to see these faces around City Hall and also working to move our city forward. So look for them in City Hall and other city buildings. Building department also, recreation, Department of Public Works, all new faces you're going to see around here. And that, Kevin Lowson, our HR director, so raise your hand. I know how much you love to be acknowledged. We've increased spending in public safety. It's a priority. We've increased spending in a couple areas: public safety, infrastructure, and recreation. And it's been in line with, so as we add bodies, we add significant costs. And our HR team is a part-time team. They do a great job, always sharpening their pencil and seeing how ways we can save money. So added employees, added healthcare costs, and from 2018 and 19 to 2024, 25, we've over $1 million in healthcare savings based on the hard work by that team. So Kevin, great job. Future workforce. All right, we're getting close to the last pillar now. How do we develop that workforce that's going to continue to bring economic success in our community? They're not going to come here if we don't have workforce skill set and talents, and how do we invest in our future? So here we are working closely with the Romulus High School team. This right here, we took our kids down to SWCRC. It's a meeting that they have downriver where all the local leaders meet. You know, have some state legislators there, and it gives our kids some exposure to see how these things work. So we're proud to have the kids go down and participate. When we started going down, and we saw all these different high schools downriver there, but no Romulus Eagle team. So we worked to get corporate sponsorship, we worked to get our kids down there with the schools, so we're proud to have them down there and keep them exposed to these different things that are going on out there. Also, we were proud to work with the schools on the intern program that we have here. So if you have a local business and you want to work with our schools and be running that program again, it's a great chance to get our students exposed and ready for that workforce. And again, this one right here, this is great work by State Representative Dylan Wagella, Senator Camilleri, and also State Rep Reggie Miller to work on and securing the $1.6 million to bring trades back to the city of Romulus High Schools. So that's a great initiative right there. We grew up with trades, but if we bring trades back, these kids will have additional opportunities and things that are being out there. We want to expose them to what things might be out there. Regional carpenters. Any regional carpenters here? These guys show up? Ronnie Miracle, he's an old eagle. He came out with me, but anyhow, he's high up in the regional carpenters. We get a great relationship with the regional carpenters and the millwrights, and they have a fantastic program. They've always brought up to show our high school kids. They bring a trailer out with a bunch of AI. And if you see right here, here's Mr. White with the goggles on. That takes them to the Gordie Howe Bridge project they're working on. Here you have the millwrights showing the kids how to do millwright activities, basic carpentry skills, and here's the trailer right here you see. That's an incredible tool, and you can see the light bulbs going off in these kids' minds when they're there. They were engaged, they were looking at it. You might have a carpenter who don't even know if he's not exposed to it. You might have a millwright who don't even know he's a millwright unless you show him what's out there. So we showed them these things, let's show them opportunities. And now we know we're really getting closer to the end of this thing. So I was at Barth a couple years ago meeting some kids, and one of the kids there were asking questions, and they said, how long did you go to school to be mayor? How long did you go to mayor's school? And I thought about it. It's a good question for a kid. And I thought about it, and I said, well, I'm always going to school. School is a state of mind of learning. So you got to be learning every day. And I was honored to be selected by SEMCOG, Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments, to represent Southeastern Michigan last year and attend Harvard. What an incredible opportunity for me to go there and see the exposure of, so you'll see this is a class of 83 other representatives from around the world. Australia, Ireland, all over the United States. We're all there, all leaders, all type A personalities, all in school to learn best practices and tools that we can come here and bring them back and put them in, and implement them in the city of Romulus. So a little bit of trivia knowledge for you here. John Harvard. That statue is of a guy who built the school, not John Harvard, but everybody thinks that's John Harvard. So they all go there and they touch his foot because that's supposed to be good luck. However, that's not even John Harvard. So now you know. They have no known likeness of him. They have no idea what he looked like. So they just took a shot at it. So, but that is also a program I was eager to attend and proud to attend. It's another program that takes me away from this, my number one priority for my school. So I love this job. I love doing what I'm doing. However, you got to maintain balance. And I'm always on my team about that. And I'm a little bit, Officer Hayes was asking me out back, like, how's the family? I've been lacking a little bit. So thank you to my family for allowing me to do this job and share with the city around us. And I can't wait to August because I got baby number 5 coming, so. That's what it's all about right there, so. It's all about family, right? But we gotta make sure we maintain that balance. The First Lady of the City of Romulus, Kendra McCraight, come on up. Gotta acknowledge the elected officials here, they can probably speak on this. The spouses and the things that they got to put up with for us to do our jobs well, and to support us at home is unbelievable. And the amount of things they got to put up with, not only to hear me here at work, but to hear me at home. And I'm probably a stubborn Irishman anyway, so it's hard to deal with me anyways, let alone to know what I'm trying to get done in the city of Romulus. So come all the way up, baby. Don't be shy now. But she's a little bit different too, so we got her out riding her Harley. So, and you see, that's me chasing her, so I'm still not as good as she is. I think she had a great coach, so she's out riding her own bike, and that's part of that wind therapy we talk about. When I get out of the office, I love to get on that bike. So hats off to Kendra McCraight, the First Lady of the City of Romulus, for being your own Harley girl. We usually wrap this up with giving you a flower, but we want to do a little bit different. So you got a Harley gift card here, and also some of your favorite sugary treats in there. So thank you again for allowing me to do that. You want to make a speech or anything? We can go for another hour, right? Colin Powell. I've become a student of great leaders, and Colin Powell is a guy, the more I read, the more I respect him and the things he's able to get done. And he's got 13 rules of leadership. One of them I'm really focused on now that talks about have a vision, be demanding. And if you heard Dr. Edmondson talk about it, he knows where he wants to get our schools to go, and he's going to be demanding until he gets there. You're going to ruffle feathers. And it's the same thing we're working on in Romulus right now. We're going to ruffle some feathers, but we're going to get things done to get the city where it needs to be. But by far, my favorite rule that he has is perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Perpetual optimism, believing in yourself, believing in your purpose, believing you will prevail and demonstrate your passion, confidence is a force multiplier. You can get a lot of things done with perpetual optimism. So that being said, I will leave you with that quote, and thank you for coming tonight. And I'm going to bring the police honor guard up. Please don't leave just yet. We're going to retire the colors.
Face. Breathe, set, arms. Order, arms. Honor guard, breathe. Cover. Honor guard, colors left, march. Forward, march.
Again, thank you for coming tonight, but most of all, thank you for caring about the city of Romulus, and I will see you next year.